Welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a self-paced audio course. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. We've compiled a list of the greatest business podcasts available. They've become much more accessible to listen to. Each episode is broken down into subsections. Use the contents areas links to get straight to the section you want. We're continuously searching for new ways to make learning easier for you. And we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time to listen. So, tell me about it. As soon as you've completed your research with procrastination and, in particular, your book, what's the most surprising aspect about the end of procrastination? Or a fascinating discovery that you made in order to delve deeper into some of the research and the research that backs it up? Right. There is a massive meta-analysis available. Nearly every study on procrastination as a result, the primary reason of procrastination has been identified. Is a lack of self-control. Self-regulation implies that you are in control of your emotions. Then there's the logical side of things. And if you can't keep yourself from succumbing to it, the emotional aspect will triumph. And it implies that you are going to check your Facebook account. I don't know if you want to overeat. You wish to watch Netflix, for example. However, if you have a strong sense of kindness, and your reasonable mind is more powerful if your willpower is stronger, you will be able to self-regulate. Even if you're tempted to do something, resist it. You have the ability to resist. So that's what procrastination is all about. To actually work on your brain's small power center, okay, so it appears to be reasonable. What's the best way to go about it? There are a variety of ways available. Because of this, one of my favorites is when you undertake daily routines. For instance, if you do 20 push-ups every day, not only do your muscles expand, but so does a part of your brain. This is known as the prefrontal cortex. Willpower is a portion of the brain that grows as well. That's fantastic news. That procrastination is not a personality trait. Willpower, on the other hand, is a muscle that can be strengthened. So if you perform 20 push-ups every day, you'll be able to lose weight. Willpower is something that can be learned. Well, that's fantastic. So, is it push-ups, or is it something else? Is it a specific type of strength training that strengthens the willpower, or would running and doing the same thing be the same thing? Yes, all exercises work in the same way. What matters is that you do something every day. You can do your favorite routine, such as a 5-minute yoga session. I'm not sure, but it doesn't have to be push-ups. However, 5 minutes a day can significantly improve your willpower. We also have a single willpower that applies to all domains. As a result, you can exercise your willpower. Then you have more willpower in general, even at work. As a result, exercise is a critical component to improve your ability to be self-disciplined. What are any other options for boosting it? Another option is to practice mindfulness. I enjoy doing 5 to 10 minute meditations. Those 5 to 10 minutes of complete attention on nothing, focusing on your breath, is awareness. Or a tally of something that can actually be counted. Boost your willpower as well. So, my recommendation is to exercise for 5 minutes. First thing in the morning, and then mindfulness meditation in the afternoon, and all of the exercises at the same time. They simply took a few minutes to complete, but can make a significant difference in your day-to-day life. Willpower and productivity are two factors to consider. What is the magnitude of this disparity? Is it likely that I'll be, 1 percentage point higher in willpower if I do my push-ups and practice mindfulness? I'll be okay. Or is it anything like double, triple, etc.? Do you have an idea of how much money you'll need? Of a change we'd see as a result of these interventions? That is, after all, the great question. My personal experience is that I just have a few anecdotal evidences. Because it's really difficult to, of my clientele, since it's extremely difficult to, if you read those meta-analyses to see how huge they are, you'll be surprised. At the end of the day, it made a difference. So, that's a great question, but with my clientele, it's a little different. I can clearly notice the difference. As an example, if people begin to hone their willpower, let's say 3 or 4 weeks from now, they are a lot more productive than we are. As a result, measuring it is challenging. But if I ask them what they've improved on, they'll tell me. They have noticed a huge difference. They're telling me they can accomplish things like, I don't know, twice as many tasks every day, or something along those lines. 2 times as many tasks per day seems appealing. That's all right. As a result, there is a level of physical activity. As well as a little bit of awareness. Are there any other important steps we should take? Enhancing our resolve? There is a lovely study that our willpower is reliant on our blood sugar levels are based on simple sugars. As a result, consume fruits and vegetables on a daily basis. Can also help you to increase your willpower. As an example, if you want to drink something, I'm not sure if I want a glass of fresh juice or anything to eat. 2 free apples can also significantly increase your willpower. Another example would be to go for a walk. Because if you spend the entire day sitting, then your mind is fully packed. You should also strengthen your cardiovascular system. So take a 5-minute or 10-minute walk. Can help with willpower as well. So, in the morning, I recommend doing a simple little exercise. Then, during the day, to consume fruits and vegetables, then having walks come to an end. Then, in the evening, practice a simple meditation. And you can effectively double your output. What are some of your expert recommendations? If you will, for when you are in the midst of battle, there's also this thing, which you know you should do, you don't want to do it though. Right now, you're right there. Where do you look for power? Okay, as for me, I'm going somewhere. Without access to the internet, for instance, I have a favorite tea shop. That I was in the middle of writing my book, and they just do not have access to the internet there. As a result, it aided me in getting started on something. What's more, what's really good is to choose an appropriate time to begin. For instance, if you're putting off sending, I'm not sure, an important email, you should set appropriate time. Like, okay, I will start at 8 a.m. And you can use apps that can block your internet connection. For Apple, the name is Freedom. So you can really block your internet connection. And for Windows, it is called Cold Turkey, and those apps can help you a lot if you block your internet connection. You have a tool called the Heroism Tool that you can use. In your own book, what exactly is going on here? Okay, that's okay. Professor Philip Zimbardo created this tool. Who made a name for himself as a result of his Stanford prison experiment. It's still a bit of a hot topic. And when I first met Zimbardo, I was astonished. I inquired about his personal recommendation. For the purpose of overcoming procrastination? And then he did something that I didn't understand. My black marker was taken by him. He also drew a large black dot on his forehead. What? I exclaimed. And Zimbardo told me that if you set your mind to it, you can do anything. A large black dot on your brow and you go shopping, for example. Alternatively, you may take the bus somewhere. You begin to become accustomed to weird feelings you're experiencing. That you are unique. You, on the other hand, are able to conquer your level of social comfort, and he accurately described my personality. That there are 2 different types of comfort zones. The first is a physical issue. It's a lot more evident now. It is, for instance, in the morning, in bed, in bed, in bed, in bed, in bed, it's a place where you can relax physically. Or if you're in a circumstance where you're in your automobile. Then there's the social comfort zone. As a result, you are a part of the crowd. You're in a position of power. And it's critical to overcome this. Even to combat procrastinating, because we are frequently unable to act at the appropriate time. So, according to Zimbardo, if you do this little training, you'll be fine. With the black blotch on your brow, then you are capable of breaking free from your comfort zone. Even in various settings, if you go near to an accident, for example, you'll be much better able to intervene and assist. You can also express your viewpoint. If another person is silent, and so on. This is what Zimbardo refers to as small heroism. Those small acts of bravery can have a big impact. Your capacity to be the chosen one who actually make a difference when a situation is critical. So, for me, this is a useful tool. One of the primary themes in my book Samurai Sam, they had a rule in place. That if you're in a precarious circumstance that you must take action, you've most likely heard about it. It's the 3 heartbeat rule. You must act in 3 heartbeats at all times. Such as 3, 2, 1, and then act because, for instance, if you're driving, and you notice an accident, those 3 seconds are truly yours. To come to a halt and assist there. If you don't do that, you'll be in trouble. It's far easier to come up with reasons to avoid doing so. I believe I've heard about this. Unless it was on a reality program, that is. Concerning pickup artists in terms of, the 3-second rule. In this case, they'd say that guys were the ones who were going to approach a lady, as well as conversing with her. Okay, I believe this idea. I like the idea of stopping near to an accident. Is perhaps a little more significant. Without a doubt. Yes. But I believe it all boils down to the same thing. Yes, that's correct. The trepidation, the terror, I'm kind of overthinking it. Can simply yes, overthinking it obstructs your progress. It's a serious issue. As an example, we have information. You procrastinate more if you overthink things. So, if you're fighting overthinking, try this. We also have some lovely data. The more intelligent and creative you are, the better. You procrastinate even more after that. That is my issue. Yeah. Because you have the ability to come up with new ideas. With very good justifications, and make excuses in front of others. So you make use of your imagination. As well as your brains working against you. And that is the issue. For example. It's extremely, very difficult to avoid overthinking. This is a pretty common problem among clever individuals. So I'm intrigued if we could discuss it. Perhaps some of the fear factors, I suppose, and sometimes it's just a very quick thing. You only have a limited amount of time to respond to something. There's, and there it's not urgent, but you're probably in a hurry. Right now, I'm thinking about salespeople. It's as though, what's more, you know what? I have some phone calls to make, but I'm resisting. Because I believe they will be upset with me, and that is not a good situation. It's not like you're afraid of it, either. However, it is not enjoyable, and there may be some anxiety as a result. Or the fear or apprehension that comes with it, so I guess not overthinking it is a good thing. One technique is to simply jump in. Is there anything else you'd suggest? In these circumstances? I conduct salesperson trainings. Our everyday routines, as well as what works effectively for them. For instance, suppose you need to make some cold calls. For example, you should establish a very low bar. To make free calls, but to do so on a daily basis, and if you have a schedule in place and follow it, you'll be okay. If you make those free calls on a daily basis, it will be much easier to do more. As a result, science is to blame for these micro habits. What matters, though, is not the amount, but the quality. What matters is that you stay the course. Every day to the habit, and if you do that 5 to 10 times, you'll have a good result. Then it'll be a lot easier to get started. So here's my piece of advice for salespeople, is to, for example, specify the appropriate time. I want to, like I mentioned, at 8 a.m. I'll start with calls, and I'll make 3 of them. Then there's what's really good. Habit list is a tool that we've developed. You've got a table to fill out every day. The desk and to see that you actually accomplished your aim. As a result, lower the bar and repeat. And once you've established that habit, you have the option to increase the quantity. Finally, you can make, 15 calls per day. Okay. So, with this habit list table, you'll be able to. I'm guessing the rows are a habit. The columns would subsequently be divided into days. And you'd want to fill it up, right? In the style of Franklin or a Jerry Seinfeld joke, hey, keep the chain going, they say. Day after this is, without a doubt, one of my favorite tools. It's something I utilize on a daily basis. For instance, I have a row that is referred to as cold shower. Another row is to do those morning exercises. I'm not sure what the other row will be. Read a few pages or write a few pages, and so forth. However, the most important aspect of this tool is that if you picture the results, you'll be able to see how they'll turn out. If you pass it, you put a green dot on it. If you don't, you'll get the red dot. You can see its visible feedback. So you have a table, and you see how excellent you are in the end. In those routines, and if you notice that you're falling short, don't give up. You have a lot of days in a row. It means you've set the bar too high. Or you're lacking in intrinsic motivation to carry out such tasks, so they are the only two possibilities. Like if you're lacking in motivation. Perhaps the bar has been set too high. As a result, you'll be able to solve both. You can, for example, inquire as to why you wish to engage in that habit. You can also boost your motivation. Alternatively, you can lower the bar. If you can't write 5 pages per day, for example, you should begin with 2 paragraphs as an author. A lower bar is always present. Let's take a look at motivation for a bit. What can we do to acquire more of that? The book's first section is about motivation. Because I believe that if you have the appropriate motivation, you can do anything. Then you don't require any willpower. As a result, finding the correct incentive is far more critical. Then there's a surge in willpower. I don't have to force myself to give talks. Because I enjoy giving talks. As a result, doing things is much more essential to me. I don't have to force myself to do anything. So, the essence of motivation that I'm attempting to achieve is to cover in my book is the following. There are 3 different types of motivation. Extrinsic incentive is the first. There's also a massive meta-analysis on motivation. And it appears that extrinsic motivation is ineffective. It was effective for manual tasks. However, it does not work for activities that necessitate the use of your brain. As a result, it is ineffective for creative and cognitive tasks. Then there's intrinsic motivation. However, I describe 2 types of intrinsic drive in this article. One is concentrating on goals as intrinsic motivation. And it is for this reason that people make goals. In their personal lives, and because I had a client, this might be disastrous. He also had a goal board like that. And he had his automobile, which he wanted to buy, with him. The perfect apartment he aspires to. He became depressed since he lacked any of that. The issue with objectives is that if you are concentrating on them, you will fail to achieve them. You are less happy about something that will happen in the future. In the moment, since you haven't achieved your goal yet. The second time it backfires is when you achieve your goal. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. Hedonic adaptation is caused by psychology. As a result, even if you achieve your highest aim, whether you've won a Nobel Prize or an Olympic gold medal, you're happy for a few days, maybe a week, but not longer. As a result, focusing on your objectives can become addictive. We call those persons goal junkies because they are obsessed with achieving their objectives. Those are the folks who are being held to a higher standard and bigger ambitions, but they are unsatisfied in the present, and if they achieve their aim, they are only happy for a short time. However, they will require a new goal. On social media, it's a lot like that these days. If you have 10,000 followers, for example, okay, I'll take 100,000, you think. Then you've got 100,000 people following you. Then you'll need 1 million or more followers, and so on. As a result, the more you have, the more you desire. And it leads to addiction rather than satisfaction. That's a real bummer. So, what is the better option? Okay, we'll call it intrinsic motivation based on a trip. It's also based on a very old yet very essential proverb. That the destination is the way, so, What is far more vital than focusing on objectives is to concentrate on enjoyable activities for you, and you understand their significance. And where do you look for these activities? For that, I have a simple tool that is based on Ikigai as a Japanese concept. Ikigai is a Japanese term that originates from the island of Okinawa. It's one of my favorite islands in the world. And Okinawa is well known for this. Claiming they have the world's longest life expectancy as a result, they truly live to be 100. They also conducted a long-term investigation. What is the reason for Okinawa's long-term survival? And the concept of Ikigai was born as a result. It means a strong sense of purpose in English. They define Ikigai as a connection in both English and Japanese. Between 4 sections, the first step is to do what you're good at. As a result, strengths are crucial. The second aspect of Ikigai is to do activities you enjoy. As a result, happy feelings are crucial. This state is referred to as flow in psychology. When you do anything, time stands still for you. You've arrived at the present moment. The third part of Ikigai, to me, is the most significant. It's also doing something bigger than yourself. Doing something that benefits society also benefits others. So, in addition to being selfish, unselfish behaviors are vital. The fourth step is to take action. Something you can be compensated for. So money is crucial, but not in the way you may think. What matters most is that you employ your strengths on a daily basis, as well as the need of focusing on meaning and purpose. As a result, the concept was that they were living for such a long time. Because a significant percentage of their actions, as you may be aware, do you check one or more of the following 4 boxes? Right, and if you come across anything that is connected to something else, for example, if I give a presentation, it's really essential to me since it serves a purpose. Because it has the potential to benefit a large number of individuals, then I have a lot of fun doing it. I can develop it in order to boost my abilities. So the greater my presentation skills are, I'm more pleased with the outcome. And of course, I'll be compensated for it. So, if you come across something that appears to be connected, cortisol, the stress hormone, is lower in your system. That is slowly killing us. So it could be one of the reasons why individuals do what they do. They live much longer if they have a greater sense of purpose. And the data reveals that persons who have a greater sense of purpose, they have a lower risk of heart disease. Stroke risk is reduced, and so. It has the potential to significantly extend your life. When it comes to education, just a little bit of organization in terms of jobs and time, and the day after day I understand you have some points of view on how we may improve our performance in this area, so that we can accomplish more before becoming exhausted. Right? Productivity is the key. Is to get enough sleep on a regular basis. As an example, procrastinators are also workaholics. They are, however, procrastinators when it comes to taking a break. As a result, if you are employed, without taking a break for 12 hours in a row, your work is of very poor quality. However, if you work for 1 hour, after that, you can relax. After that, you labor for another hour. Your output is far higher. As a result, it's critical to get enough sleep on a regular basis. And to take a break even before you're exhausted. It's crucial because if you're fatigued, you'll be less productive. You lack the motivation to go for a walk. As a result, you should go for a walk before you become exhausted. You should also consume that freshly squeezed juice before you've been weary, and so on. It's done in a proactive manner. Resting in a preventative manner is critical. Okay. So, here's a good idea: you sleep before you're weary, so that you can sleep when you're tired. In a more active or productive manner, Peter, that's right. As a result, I suppose it varies. Individual by individual, however, you use the time as an example. After an hour, take a break. Is that the appropriate recipe or time frame? Yes, it largely depends. Based on your desires, 1 hour is sufficient for me. It could take up to 45 minutes. It could take up to 30 minutes. It could take up to 2 hours. It all depends on the situation. So 1 hour is sufficient for me to concentrate on something and then take a break, and when it comes to sleeping, there's nothing like a good night's sleep. You indicated that you were going for a walk. Or any of the other possibilities. Is there any other important way to recover that are really efficient and effective? Yes, I enjoy those walks. Walking is a fantastic activity because it has the potential to increase your circulatory system, so, of course, there will be walks followed by sleeps. You have the option of taking a 15 to 20 minute snooze. Naps are also beneficial. In terms of efficiency, it appears absurd that napping is a thing. Can help you be more productive, but it's the truth. There is a great deal of scientific evidence to support this claim. That if you take 1 or 2 naps per day, you'll feel better. Your output is far higher than if you worked for 12 hours straight. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy.